Testing, 1, 2, 3. Well, hopefully the sound works. All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about breast fat transfer. Today we're going to talk about a topic that a lot of y'all have been messaging me about, and it's breast fat transfer. So typically we talk about fat transfer to the butt, but you can actually take the fat that you don't want from your abdomen, for example, and put it into your breast. If you're looking for a natural increase in bust size, or you've had children and now you want the breast that you used to have, then fat transfer is actually a really good option. If you are trying to go really big, multiple cup size increases, things like that, then fat transfer probably wouldn't be the option for you. So stick around, we're going to go over an in-depth about what fat transfer is, and then the second part we're going to be talking about how much fat you actually need to get the cup size and the increase that you're actually looking for. As always, guys, my name's Alan. This is Aesthetic Minute. If this is your first time here, make sure you click the subscribe button right here. And ring that bell notification if you want to get notified when I do new videos. I do videos about cosmetic surgery and stem cell treatment, and we also do give... Oh, man. Come on. And we also do giveaways every once in a while. This is whenever... And we also do giveaways every once in a while when procedures, and we also do giveaways every once in a while with some gift cards. Right now we are doing a $50 gift card brought to you by Mertz. Mertz is a company that does fillers like Radius and Bellatero, and they're sponsoring this week's giveaway. If you want to win that gift card, all you have to do is give me a comment down below and you'll be entered for this week's giveaway. All right, so let's just jump into it. This first part is going to talk about what fat transfer is. So if you watched any of my other Brazilian butt lift fat transfer videos, you probably already know about this. And you can skip to the following time, and that'll get you straight to the breast fat transfer part. If you're sticking around, let's talk about what fat transfer is. So everybody's got a certain amount of fat in their body that they don't want. Sorry about thunder. So everybody's got a little bit of fat in their body that they don't want, and you can actually take that fat out and move it somewhere where you do want it. The success rate is really good right now. You're looking at around 85% 85% fat cell survival, and typically what we do is we take fat from someone's abdomen or love handles and then move it somewhere else. Now you can take it from your arms. Now there's definitely some places that you have. Now, there's definitely some places where the fat is better than others. So for fat transfer, you want to stick with areas like your abdomen, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, love handles, or your arms, or your inner thighs. Those are going to be your best fat transfer areas for fat cell survival. Secondary area would be outer thighs. There's just not a lot of fat in that area, but if we have to, that's a good place to take. And then bad areas that you don't want to take unless it's the last option would be areas like your axilla, which is this fat right here in the armpit, or back bra roll, or anything in the upper back. All of that fat is very fibrous. Think of it like gristle, and it's just not going to survive as well in an area. But if that's the only fat you have left, you got to do what you got to do. You also don't want to mix those fats together. So if you go in and you get an abdomen fat liposuction and you also want to upgrade to do your back bra fat roll, then your doctor needs to make sure that the fat doesn't get mixed in the canisters, because that back bra fat can affect the end result on your fat transfer. Typically, then you want to activate that fat so it survives, because if you pull it out and just transfer it somewhere else, it is going to survive a little bit, but not nearly as well as if you do some things to it. The first thing is you need to activate the stem cells. So when your fat comes out, it's got hundreds of millions of stem cells that are just sleeping in there. The easy thing to do to activate them is something called PRP, or platelet-rich plasma, and if you've done enough Googling or YouTubing, you're going to come across that. PRP is a growth factor that's pulled from your own blood. You take a 60 cc draw of blood, you put it in a centrifuge, it spins it out, and then you're left with this product. PRP can be used for a lot of stuff, but it's used in fat transfer procedures to activate the fat. So when you mix that into that clean fat, the stem cells wake up and they do three important things. The first is they excrete a hormone which is going to help with healing. That's how your body heals itself. The second is they're going to grow into new fat. If you're trying to get a fat transfer, you want as much fat to survive as possible. And then the most important is it excretes that hormone which will attract the blood supply to the area. So whenever you take fat from one place to another, the only way that fat cell is going to survive in a new area is if it gets connected again with a blood supply. If it doesn't get connected, then it dies off and the body absorbs it and just goes somewhere else. But if you can get a blood supply to it, you can get a much better success rate. So that's the most important part about this. The second is how deep do you go? So beforehand, we used to always inject just right into the breast fat tissue, and we got an okay result. And then we realized that as you inject deeper, thunder, and then we realized as you inject deeper into the area, then you get a better blood supply. So some people actually inject all the way into the muscle or right above it, and that's okay. We got a lot of blood supply in that area. You're going to get a good result. You also do something called micrografting, which is a small amount of injection, but done in a layered fan-like motion. You grow the breast tissue slowly so that you get to what you want. The more surface area you can make for each fat cell, the better the result is going to be. Finally, expectations are going to be important. So recovery time, I expect you to rest at home for about 2 days. Total recovery time is about 3 weeks on your liposuction, mainly because you're going to have swelling for 3 weeks. And then as far as your results come into play for the breast, and as far as your results on the breast go, just give it about 3 months, because by 3 months, any fat that has died off, and that's about the right time you can start buying new bras. Whatever result you have at 3 months is pretty much your permanent result thereafter. One of the main important things to think about, though, no, that's not what we want to talk about. Fat transfer is considered a permanent procedure as long as you don't lose weight. No, move that to the end. All right, so that was a crash course in fat transfer. Now, why would you ever do a breast fat transfer? Well, breast fat transfer has some positives. It also has some cons to it too. The positives over breast implant surgery is that you get a natural feel. You get no reactions to a foreign body. You get no reactions to a foreign body, and you also don't get any capsulization. There's no implant. And since you have to remove the fat from one place on your body, you actually get body shaping or slimming in one part because you're getting liposuction. So that area looks better, and then you get to make another area better along with it. Whereas with breast implants, you typically just fix the breast, but you don't actually make anything else smaller unless you pay extra for liposuction. So why would you ever get implants over fat transfer? Implants aren't really that bad. I don't mind them at all. I like the shape of them. I like the shape of them. Here in Dallas, silicone is the king of breast implants. Nowadays that you put it under the muscle, it really doesn't matter if you use saline or silicone anymore because the feeling and the texture is going to be the same anyways. It's all just about price point. And like I said, here in Dallas, a lot of people like to put silicone. It is a little bit more expensive, but you could easily do saline just as well. Now, the benefits of having an implant are that if you have a small cup size and you want to jump a couple sizes, let's say you were a and you wanted a C, or B, you wanted to go double D, you can do that with implants because they use a spacer, or the implant itself stretches the skin out. You can't do that with fat. If you inject fat into breast tissue, what actually happens is that at a certain point, the skin is going to stretch to a point where you just can't put any more fat into the breast. And what happens is that's your maximum fill point for that day. That's usually about a cup size of increase. So if you're looking for more than a cup size of increase, then fat transfer is probably not going to be a good option for you. The only way around that is to do a secondary fat transfer treatment about 6 months later, but still we kind of frown down upon that because that usually ends up being too much weight on the breast, and then gravity is going to pull it down and it's going to look droopy. So typically if you want 1 cup size, that's about where you want to be at with a fat transfer. Your ideal candidate for a fat transfer is somebody that's had some weight loss or that's had pregnancy and now they want to restore their breast to what it used to be. Someone that wants a natural feel because they want natural breast texture on. Another type of patient that we see a lot are patients that do want to go get implants but want a little bit of fat padding above the implant just so that it looks more natural. So they come and do the fat transfer first, and then 6 months later they go and do an implant. That's fine too. No matter what you choose though, if you do opt to go for a fat transfer option, you have to understand that whatever weight you're at on the day of your treatment needs to be the weight you're at for the rest of your life. If you go through and lose weight after fat transfer, you're going to lose your results. And that means you're going to need to touch up again, which means more cost. (32D, 34C, 34. So you also have to understand equivalent breast cup sizes. So if you look at a breast, you got a 36D, which is the same. If you look at it, a 32D is the same as a 34C, and that's the same as a 36B. On larger sizes, you can go with a 34 double D, which is the same as a 36D, or a 38C. And once you know that, then you can also estimate how much fat you're going to need to get to the cup size you want. So typically, if you are a 32, if your cup size is a size 32, you're going to need about 200 to 250 cc's of fat to increase by 1 cup size. If you're a 34, then you need 300 to 400 cc's on average. And if you're 36, 38 cup size and you want to go up a cup size, you're going to need around 500 to 600 cc's of fat. So to kind of just understand how much that is, if you take a 1 liter Coke bottle, that's 1,000 cc's. So you'll need that entire bottle full of fat to do 2 breasts if you're a 36. If you're smaller, then you need a less than that. So let's say you need, hey Google, how many ounces? No.
1 ounce equals 0.0625 pounds.
Hey Google, how many ounces are in a liter?
1 liter equals 33.814 US fluid ounces.
33 ounces. Hey Google, what's 33 divided by 200?
The answer is 0.165.
Hey Google, what's 33 divided by 5?
The answer is 6.6.
Okay, 6.6. So to kind of also understand, if you're a 32 cup size, you're going to need about 6 ounces of fat to get you up a cup size. 6 ounces is about half a Coke can, and that's per breast. So the volume isn't that much. If you're a 34 cup size, then you need about that 300 to 400 range. And if you look at an implant, this is about how big a 300 cc implant is. So if you put an implant like this in and you're a 34, that'll raise you up 1 cup size. Just for perspective, this is a 700 cc implant. This is pretty big, and you would have to be a 36 or 38 cc, no, 36 or a 38 cup size, and you want to go up a cup size, then you would use this. You could also use this if you're a small B and you're wanting to go to a double D size. So just so you see, the difference in size is pretty massive. Now 700 cc's in an implant is a nice little round object, which is why also the shape of the breast changes when you do implant. If you use this much in fat, it actually spreads apart and it doesn't have that rounded cone shape like you would with an implant, which is why a lot of people like it, because it gives you a natural look. It also affects the way that it spreads, so you can make the breast a little bit wider if you need to, but in general this is really designed for inflating the breast to help with the upper part of the breast that is concave or indented. Like I said, post-pregnancy or weight loss, that's really where fat transfer excels at. So to finalize this, remember that if you're doing a fat transfer, you want to do some research on it, because you can't lose weight afterwards. So if you ever want to lose weight, I highly suggest that you do that prior to doing a fat transfer procedure, because you will lose your result if you go into the gym and you lose weight after this. So be as close to your goal weight as possible and then go and do the surgery. Secondly, you need to figure out what your cup size is. Use my measurements that I gave you, and that'll estimate how much fat you need. That should tell you about how many areas of lipo. So if you're at 32, you probably don't need that much lipo, you need 1 area. But if you're a larger cup size, expect to do 2 or 3 areas of liposuction to get enough fat so that you can have a good result. And if you don't like any of that look, then you always have implants, and there's nothing wrong with it. Just expect that implants are going to last you about 10 years. If you do your math right, you can actually, a lot of people don't realize this, but when you do an implant, they get you a serial number booklet, and at the back of the booklet, there's a little mail-in sticker. And if you fill that out and send the manufacturer $100, they actually give you a 10-year warranty, which means that for any reason, for any time, you can always get a second boob job for free within 10 years, which is kind of nice. So that means you pay for 1 boob job, but you're actually getting 2. But no matter what, expect that breast implants are going to have to be replaced at about 10-year intervals. With fat transfer, you don't have to do any replacement as long as you stay the same weight. Well, that was a really long video. I hope that helped out answer some questions that you guys had about breast fat transfer. If you have any more questions, please leave me a comment below. I will answer them. And always remember, we do have a Patreon account. Right now, I would like to do the membership on YouTube, but we don't have enough followers yet. But right now, if you guys are looking for free giveaways on procedures or gift cards, or you just need consultations, you can always go on the Patreon. It's The Aesthetic Minute and sign up. Otherwise, you can leave me a comment and I'll answer them. And then if you have any kind of video topics that you'd like to see, just shoot me a comment and I'll try to make one for you. Until next time, talk to you later. Bye.